Velstrana, pocketed alone in its own universe. A vast planet of 8 continents, of varying cultures, creatures, races of people, and beliefs. Perhaps we'll get to see them all eventually. But for now, we're watching Ickerfall. Religious capital of the world, Ickerfall lives and breathes the ideologies set in place by their 15 gods. In 5 elements, fire, water, winds, earth, and spirit. These 15 gods sit in their pantheon and watch over the planet, and Ickerfall houses their most beautiful temples and altars. Whether they are active or apathetic remains to be seen.
We begin in the western point of Ickerfall, in the crystalline city of Leshta. After leaving his sheltered life from Leshta for the first time, a young canine man named Callisto Polaris bands up with a nearby small-town hero, Cece Barnes, that's me if you didn't know already, and a local guard named Andrew as they are introduced to an insect infestation plaguing the small towns in their area. As they deal with the soul-sapping bugs called sulcatas, they meet with Rasmesus Codwell, a strange, imposing druid, and Xavier Litchfield, a cunning, charming rogue dealing with the same problem that they are. After a fateful encounter with these sulcatas resulting in some innocent lives taken, and the resulting emotional toll that comes with it, Andrew stays behind and urges Callisto and Cece to go investigate further with their strange new companions.
Rasmesus and Xavier admit that these sulcatas were once an extinct species, and their revival had gotten out of hand. As they begin investigating the dens of the sulcatas and the wasps that hunt them, we find out some things about our bands of misfit. Cece can transform into a strange moon elemental at night. Rasmesus revived the sulcatas himself with an ancient text. Callisto is running away from home. And Rasmesus and Xavier find their friend that's been kidnapped by the sulcata hunting wasps, Toraleth Solvan. After spending some time together, the party begins to piece together what was previously forgotten. In her childhood, Cece ran away from her home island, of which she was considered royalty, and was rescued by a charismatic man who promised her she could become a hero. She then lived on a boat called the Shepherd with 11 other young children, the captain who saved her and his partner, going on grand adventures and learning how to be heroes. We learn that Xavier, Toraleth, and Rasmesus were also on the boat as Cece's memories come flooding back. But Callisto was not, despite being confused with someone who was. The group promises to head back to this boat after the party finds and kills most of the sulcatas in their den, including their queen. Rasmesus takes the heart of the queen that he declares he needs in search of his destined divine weapon. Rasmesus says that finding divine weapons, crafted by and for the gods themselves, is the destiny and that their captain, Mathandi, tells them that they must do in order to become gods, to the shock of Cece and Callisto.
Upon entering the city of Ivan and finding the shepherd, the party meets with Ryland Stormcaller, caretaker and overseer of the boat children, along with 3 of the other boat members, Praxis, Alira, and Anali, and their captain Mathandi. Upon meeting Callisto, that's me, for the first time, Mathandi reveals that Callisto has a twin sister, who was brought by Mathandi to join the boat crew, and he and his parents had their memories wiped of her completely. She is currently on a mission with other members of the boat, and Callisto will have to wait to meet her. Tensions start to begin among the party as Callisto grows upset and angry at Mathandi, while Cece fondly remembers everything he did for her and saved her life. To forget their troubles, the party attends a local festival for the religious holiday Halman, adorned with costumes and treats, and have a fun night together before things seemingly change forever. It seems as if this captain alone could change the tides of worship and divinity in Ickerfall forever.
Meanwhile, we meet another band of heroes that also grew up on the Shepherd. 5 years prior, boat member Genevieve Amberstone, that's me, was kidnapped from the boat crew on a field trip and forced to join a traveling circus of strange and mysterious origin. And after those 5 long years, she has finally been located. It's up to Wood Taiji, Barrett Stormcaller, Talance de Burrow, and Ganymede Polaris to get her back. With some trial and error, this party meets strange new creatures and abnormal beings to free Genevieve from her oppressive and abusive captors, notably being a manipulative ringmaster named Sterling. With the help of Benella, The last living of the once thought extinct dragon species on Velstrana, and other strange faces from the circus's freak show and zoo. The party brings the whole circus down in flames, but not without weird party antics. Wood's flashy theatrics, Baird's admiration for an ancient ancestor of his named Lux Stormcaller, Talonsta's god complex and inflated ego, Ganymede's sternness, and Genevieve's expertise with animals. Together, the five of them take down the circus in a storm, Genevieve killing Sterling herself and leaving the place decimated by thunder. The party is only able to save a few of the freaks before departing back to the Shepherd once more. Maybe the circus will return someday, though.
Once all parties have reconvened, and Cece and Callisto have acquainted themselves with their new, or in Cece's case, forgotten crewmates, it's down to business. With Genevieve's return and Callisto's appearance, Methonti orders the parties to find two remaining champions that will fill out the list of 15 divine wielder per god in the Benkelian pantheon. Cece, Baird, Dorleth, Xavier, and Praxis are sent to the fighting capital of the continent, the metalwork and gear-driven city of Valdor. Known for their fighting arena and possession of the champion of the wielder of the divine weapon Ferris, it's very likely the champion Methonti is looking for trains under the Ferris champion, a Cronin named Balder, and he's exactly right. With the help of Andrew, Baird, and Cece enter the fighting arena against Balder himself and his apprentice, Scrungus. Scrungus and Balder brutally defeat Baird and Cece firstly, and then decline their offer over dinner to join them on their boat to train as a hero. Conflict arises as the two sides try to figure out what to do, but their thinking is cut short by yet another insect infestation. Metal-eating spiders, called soldier spiders, infest into Valdor, destroying everything in its path. The two parties try with all of their might, but their efforts are fruitless. Balder instructs Scrungus to run away with the Shepherd party as he stays to defend Valdor. The last the party sees is Balder being overtaken by the insect army. Scrungus reluctantly and angrily finds himself amidst the Shepherd crew, having just lost his home and the only family he's ever known.
Meanwhile, Genevieve, Wood, Talonsta, Callisto, Ganymede, and Anali are sent on a more dangerous mission. Travel through the treacherous mountain range of the Kenai Pass and enter Gerjara, the deep underground tunnels of Hickerfall. They have to make some pit stops along the way, including checking in with the Valdor militia, of which their captain Ajax offers to accompany them through the Kenai Pass. They stop at the small city of Akar, where they meet local shop vendors, make friends, and experiment with new potions. Before the town is ambushed and lit on fire by some cruel cultists claiming the allegiance to the Gongoozler and their disciple. A strange cult, complete with arsonists and the power to wipe memories, adorned in green, and carrying strange titles. One member claims they are going after the same things as Shepherd crew are. They are also in search of the champion living in Gerjara. In shambles, the party moves the displaced people of Akar to a nearby location called the Triton Coterie,
home to a group of Tridrons, an artistic, individual race on Belstrana. Here, they make unlikely friends with Onyx, a young shop vendor displaced from a car, as he latches onto the party and sneaks with them once they leave the coterie for the Knight Pass. The Knight Pass is abysmal and wrought with monsters, including some of the solder spiders seen plaguing Baldor. Just before the party has time to recognize how different they all are, they encounter the Borkai village, a nearly wiped out society of bird-like people being wiped out by a reptilian monster called the Bell Viper. The party promises to help them eradicate the Bell Viper before the Borkai of Kanai Pass are wiped out. In return, the Borkai will clear out the rest of the way to travel to the Kanai Pass to Karajar safely. Despite their differences, the party rids Kanai Pass of the large beast, and the Borkai now can repopulate and rebuild. 2 soldiers lead the party out of Kanai Pass safely and lead them to Karajara, where Ajax departs from them as well.
In Karajara, grievances are aired as tensions split further in their desperate search for Day, the iconic wielder they're looking for. The party, basically in shambles, is torn when Genevieve and Callisto have an altercation, addressing Gem's pacifism and Callisto's temper. Already vulnerable, the group finds himself face to face with yet another Bell Viper, this one more ravenous and faster than the last. Unprepared, the party stumbles as they run, eventually finding themselves in the same cavern as Day, the draconic champion who mercilessly defeats the Bell Viper with barely any help from our players' heroes.
Day has been living in the underground for years, after escaping abuse and experimentation from their home continent called Canderous. Clearly they don't mess around, unafraid to put their party in their place with force. Day demands that before going with them to the Shepherd, that the party assists in killing a huge monster that they've been chasing for a while now, who has stolen a precious pendant from Day's possession. After some panic, some bleeding, and some force, the party helps Day defeat a giant worm. Day gets their pendant back by force. With the help of a giant rodent friend, the party digs their way out of Karjara into the port city of Zada, where the boat is located. Our parties reconvene, preparing for journeys to come, in search of their divine weapons, but differences arise. Onyx, me, dazed and confused, gets arrested for the use of magic, which was outlawed in the city of Zada by the mob running the joint. The Venom Wraiths. Splitting up, everyone decides to go help get Onyx back. One taking a more civilized approach, and the other a more fiery and forceful method of handling things. Half the party meets with Belladonna, their leader, and her 2 right hands. Lovers, Pallas and Atlas, who only overtake them and take Callisto, Toraleth, Genevieve, Scrungus, Xavier, and Praxis into custody as well, to meet the same fate as their new rabbit friend. Me.
However, perhaps the corruption within the Venom Wraiths is starting to affect even those once thought to be loyal to their cause. Atlas sneaks away to the second half of the party, to Cece, Wood, Taylonsta, and Baird, to confess he no longer feels attached to the Venom Wraiths under Belladonna's rule, and will help them get their friends free. Just in the nick of time, Wood interrupts the hanging of Callisto and Toraleth with a dramatic monologue, ending with a thunderous roar from Baird himself throughout the gallows. A mysterious, deadly force cuts the nooses free, allowing for a brutal fight to break out between Belladonna and her guards, and the newly turned Atlas Pallas with the Shepherd kids. After seeing his betrayal, Belladonna unleashes her anger onto Pallas, killing him with her poisonous nails. In his wake, Atlas takes his weapon, the demonic blade Nayant, and kills Belladonna, taking the Venom Wraiths into his own hands, and pledging to make their organization stronger and better. The party returns to the boat, united but exhausted, to prepare for renewed adventures in search of their designated divine weapons.
As the gallows burns, something else waits in the wreckage. There's someone else who is watching. We see them in the wake of the disaster, looking onwards, but only ever moving to disappear. Something is on its way. With this, we return to Ickerfall, to the Shepherd, to see what they have to do next. Through trials, through battles, through fear, love, anguish, and resentment, our heroes march forth,